This video is sponsored by Dungeon Hunter 6, which works out great because it is also a video about Dungeon Hunter 6. Basically, here's what happened. Goat Games reached out to us in late July and said, we want you to try our new action RPG, Dungeon Hunter 6. But it doesn't come out until October 13th. So I said, how do I try the game? And they said, you come to Gamescom in Germany. And I said, no, seriously, how do I try the game? And they said, no, seriously, we'll fly you to Gamescom. They built an entire castle here, complete with a giant armored statue, barrels, and baubles of coin. It was a truly immersive medieval experience. And there were smartphones, but that's because this is a game that plays on smartphones, so those had to be there, otherwise I couldn't play it. After doing a bit of exploring, I was excited to sit down and actually do some gaming. So what is Dungeon Hunter 6? Well, obviously it is the 6th entry in the Dungeon Hunter series, but it's not really a problem if you haven't played the previous games. You can still jump right in, or at least I felt like I was able to. It's a free-to-play MMO hack and slash action RPG, which is a lot of different letters that mean you are a fantasy person and you hit button and make number go up above bad guy head and then they blow up. It's also a game you can play conveniently from your phone, and if you're like me, you hear play game on phone and you get a little nervous. Generally, if given the option of sliding my finger on this or clicking these tactile buttons, I want to touch the tactile buttons. But the controls of Dungeon Hunter 6 are really responsive. Like, there's a dodge roll on the warrior class, which obviously I chose the warrior class because I am an Unga Bunga strength man, and the warrior class has a dodge roll, like Elden Ring. Is Dungeon Hunter 6 the Elden Ring of mobile games? No, it's more like Diablo, really. But there is a dodge roll, and a dodge roll needs to snap. It needs to feel good to do it. Otherwise, it can be the sloppiest, worst thing in a game. I don't know if you've played like a bad Souls-like that has a bad roll, but bad rolls are bad. This game, good roll, good dodge. And if you can have a good dodge on slidey phone, that's really impressive. Like, all of the controls worked really well. All of the abilities were specific and utilized well. That's another thing I see in a lot of mobile games is that they have just sort of different ways of doing the same thing. It's like you hit this one and it does 80 damage. You hit this one, it does 120, but it takes longer to scale. No, the warrior's got this dashing ability that helps you get in. It's got an AoE spin attack that covers a bunch of area. It's got hyper specific pointed damage. They really thought about different ways to make the character do things interesting beyond just doing number damage. Although there is still number damage over enemy head and then enemy explode, which is still very viscerally satisfying. Just when there's a whole field of skeletons coming at you and then you just crunch them all down with your double swords. Now, I do want to point out, I did kind of show them some of my moves at Gamescom. So if you play the warrior and see that spin attack, they kind of copied my ability. But if you're not into Unga Bunga strength, there are other classes you can choose. They had an archer cosplayer there and she was very serious about it. Like, I don't know if you can see it from the footage because it's kind of zoomed out, but like her eyes had like the milky contacts in, which I feel like feels dangerous. I guess I've never done it. I don't know. I'm not a cosplayer. I just get impressed by cosplay. But there's an archer. There's also an assassin, a mage, a boon sister that's kind of like a cleric-y paladin-y thing. So whatever fantasy trope you like, you can pick a character that fits your play style. And then you get to recruit more allies until you have like a little fantasy party of friends. And everything is more fun with friends. I did try out the other classes. Warrior is still my favorite, but the other ones still work fine. It's just not the kind of thing I like to do. I like to get in the middle and get close to the boss and laugh in death's face. That's kind of my vibe. I also love the boss design. They're very active. You don't just sort of hit a damage sponge until all of the numbers go away. You have to watch out for tells and telegraphs and move out of the way. They pretty clearly telegraph where attacks are going to go so that you can do that. Again, it's a game on your phone, so you have a smaller screen to work with. So that's helpful, even if it's not totally immersive. I don't know if there's a way to turn it off. I didn't go into all of the settings. Maybe there's even a way that you can like turn off the like arrows and AoE markers if that's something you're into. I'm kind of into that because I like the FromSofty Elden Ringy type games, and I would love it if the only tell that the boss was going to hit you is that their arm goes back. All the bosses have animations that like tell you that with the arrows and AoE markers. I would just maybe like to turn those off. I don't know if that's going to be an option. It might already be an option. Again, I didn't go through all of the settings. Mostly because I just wanted to keep playing. Like, I was there for a little bit of time and got to play the game for, I think, like 4 hours. I was only going to play it for like 2 hours, and then Gamescom was ending for the day, and I was like, oh, I've been here too long. So it's fun. You know, that's very good. You might lose some time to it, and that's something you should watch out for. The battery of your phone's gonna die pretty quick. So that's something to look out for too, because the graphics are really good and like the animations are really smooth, and your phone has to think about that. So like, because you're not getting frame drops, I think it might eat through battery pretty fast. So it's definitely a recommend from me. First, it's totally free to play. You have no reason not to try it and see if you like it. Two, it's really convenient. It's on your phone. So if you're on the bus or a 9-hour flight or something, you can just turn on your phone and play a couple rounds, go through a couple dungeons. And 3, it's like actually a good game. You can pre-register for the game by using my link in the description for both Android and iOS, so you can start playing right away when it comes out in October. You could also just scan that QR code right there if you want, if that's more your speed. That one. When you pre-register for the game, you will get 10 free summoning scrolls and the SSR Commander Demonic Wolf. It's just a big boost to you early in the game that'll help you get a good footing and get going and having some fun. So here's what I want to know from you in the comments. Which of the hunters are you going to be maining? Warrior, mage, assassin, boon sister? Let me know. I want to know.